Introducing Erosia, transforming physical textures into visceral, evolving instruments for cinematic music and beyond. Built on the concept of friction, scraping, bowing and grinding, raw emotional timbres are shaped by deep modulation engines and transformative effects. This innovative instrument is a collaboration with expert sound designer Jeremiah Savage, known for Native Instruments' kinetic metal and kinetic toys. By pairing contact microphones with traditional close miking, Erosia captures both the hidden, tactile vibrations inside materials and the natural resonance and space around them. This dual approach reveals textures that are simultaneously microscopic and cinematic, from unusual sources: bowed glass, ice cracking on metal, rusty hinges, splintered wood and more. Each sound starts at the point where material meets pressure, then expands into vast, evolving soundscapes. Gritty friction becomes characterful motion, and fractured imperfections bristle with interesting, unique sonic layers. This approach takes inspiration from composers such as Hilde Gonadottir and Ludwig Göransson, whose work shows how sounds that begin as raw material can tell evocative stories across many genres. Here are just a handful of the 250 inspirational snapshots. First, a quick overview. You'll spend most of your time with the Quick Access Play page. For deeper parameter tweaking, the Layers page is for granular synthesis, wavetable shaping, and harmonic resonance. The Modulation page sets up dual LFOs, envelopes, and clever combiner combos. The Effects page provides 2 insert effects chains, plus global ambience and limiting. Finally, an Options page is where you'll find playback settings and performance curves. Inside the engine, Erosia combines 4 layers, powered by 3 different sound engines: Grain for fractured animated textures, Sampler for organic realism, and Wavetable for evolving harmonic colour. Together, they create instruments that feel alive, organic and unpredictable, ripe for 4-stage transformation, LFO modulation and bespoke manipulation. Let's begin with the play page. Here you'll find access to quick control over the 4 layers, switch layers on and off, adjust volume, and solo sounds to focus on individual textures. Each layer can load a sound from the source browser, with hundreds available to explore, from bowed bicycle spokes to dry ice fizzing on metal, through to stretched slinkies and scraped piano string coils. These are categorized into brushed, scraped, and abraded for the sampled sounds, and tonular, singular, and pulsular for the wavetables, available for slots 2, 3, and 4. Towards the bottom of the interface are the 4 macros: Timbral Fusion, Tone Sculptor, Kinetic Flux, and Effectuator. The 250 factory presets already map these macros, but you can freely reassign them. At the heart of Erosia's tactile evolutions is the transform knob, which smoothly morphs between up to 4 variations: A, B, C, and D. Just use the interface or your keyboard's mod wheel. Each variation stores a different set of macro values. For example, one might be brittle and percussive, another lush and resonant, To set your own parameters, click a variation letter and tweak the 4 macros. Twisting the transform knob now blends between these variations in real time, a continuous morph between the macro settings. With 4 variations, there's a wide scope for transformations, or you can simplify by choosing fewer variations. Even reorder the ABCD variations to your taste. For automated playback, assign the transform dial to an envelope, LFO, key tracking, or other parameter. More on these modulation options in a sec. To inspire instant results, random controls are here, with filters to select source sounds, macro variations, and LFO programming. Choose the complexity of randomization that you need, and hit the dice for some unpredictable yet musical results. With the Layers page, you can dive deeper, accessing each layer's parameter controls, or choose from the main play page here. The grain engine is always selected for layer 1, where, amongst other controls, you'll adjust scan, grain size, and interval sync for shimmering or stuttering textures. For layers 2 through 4, you'll see either the sampler or wavetable engine, depending on the layer's source sound. The sampler engine gives precise control over sample start point, velocity response, and key tracking. The wavetable engine offers waveform morphing, shaping, and inharmonic stretching for evolving tones. Special processing of the fragment section time warps playback. And lo-fi introduces signal degradation. variety of filter types are accessible here, including unusual spectral models. Worth a special mention is the harmonic resonator, shaping or even generating new tones by using 3 resonant filters tuned in relation to one another. You set the first frequency with H1, then shift the second and third with H2 and H3, adding semitones. Each band has its own resonance control. Push these harder and the frequencies begin to sing out. At extreme values, the resonator will even self-oscillate, turning noise or texture into a pitched instrument in its own right. The modulation page unlocks advanced animation. 2 LFOs, 2 envelopes, and 2 combiners let you create advanced movements that can be applied to individual parameters or entire macros. For almost every dial and slider in Erosia, there's an option to assign 2 simultaneous modulation sources. Just click into the small modulation icon next to a control, then choose sources and modulation amounts. It's that simple. These modulation sources can be applied to major parameters such as layer volume and the transform dial, right through to more detail-oriented layer playback parameters in the layer and effects pages. LFOs can run free or sync to tempo. And be customized with step programming and a myriad of design options. In addition, many parameters of the LFOs themselves can be automated. Envelope programming is very visual, with additional attack curve controls. Another powerful feature inside Erosia is the combiner modulators. These let you take 2 existing modulation sources and merge them into something completely new. Choose modulation sources at the top and bottom, then select a combiner. For example, you could combine an LFO with velocity so that movement responds differently depending on how hard you play. Or blend 2 LFOs together for complex interlocking rhythms. Sum and difference to add or subtract sources. Multiply and divide offer more dramatic scaling. Crossfade blends between sources in a linear way using the amount knob as a mix control. And threshold applies a minimum floor using the amount value. With combiners, modulation in Erosia goes beyond simple movement, becoming a creative tool for sculpting textures that breathe and react in unique ways. With the FX page, Erosia provides 2 bus effects chains, A and B, plus global ambience and a final limiter. There are 3 flavors of effects: dynamics, shape, and color. You can choose 2 of each per bus. Sculpt your textures using compressors, distortion, saturation, creative filters, chorus, and delay, all with extensive parameter options which can also be modulated. Then glue the sound together with either replica reverb or a convolution model. And finally, apply a limiter. The 2 buses, A and B, are independent and can be applied to different sound layers in the Layers page. The options page lets you refine response curves for velocity, key tracking, mod wheel and aftertouch. Don't forget, aftertouch is polyphonic and can be assigned just like any other modulator, making for some really creative playback possibilities. Set voice to legato and increase the glide setting for smooth changes between pitches. With a plethora of fractured sources, 250 expressive snapshots, and infinite sound shaping options, Erosia is your window into soundscapes that strain at the seams. From haunting drones to harmonic washers, you'll find inspiration with every performance. Check out Erosia at nativeinstruments.com, and thanks for watching.